Okay, welcome. Let me see what I've got here. Hi, Audrey. Good to see you at class. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and we are starting a little bit early, 15 minutes early. That's okay. Not a big deal. Just folks can scroll back and see, what they might have missed. I want to do a little bit of housekeeping here and talk some about where we are in the course, what's going on. Of course, we had all the bad weather. And so we're over here now into week number 4, which is for this section, the 27th, which is today, and then Thursday, the 1st. I want to talk about exam number 1 that's coming up. And first of all, I have a sample there for everybody of exam 1, part 1. And you can certainly take a look at it. Okay. Now I also have instructions for exam 1, part 2. Okay, and then a place for you to upload the work for exam 1, part 2. And so what you will find is there the materials for exam 1, part 1 are going to be drawn from cases that we've done, well, the first couple of cases or so, and it's going to be drawn from these materials up here, okay? And for example, here's a PDF that talks about resources for BISS 1123 exams. I'm going to open it up for a minute. Everybody sit. And here's the PDF. It should appear here. And hello?
Hi.
Hey, honey, I'm just started my class.
Oh, you have?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I was trying
Okay.
to call you before you did. I'll be coming home just about when your class ends.
All right, I'll see you later, sweetheart.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
I love you.
All right, love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, folks, sorry about that. That was the boss. I have to take those calls. Anyway, this shows you the resources for the exams and where you can find all those materials. Okay, so you'll want to avail yourself of that as you get ready to do exam 1, part 1. Then exam 1, part 2 is a hands-on part of the exam, and that one is I have the instructions there for you. Okay, and we're here at week number 4, and you'll see there are the instructions now, and then a place for you to upload your work. Now, we are working ahead in the cases, and you should have uploaded an XLS6 already. And as I mentioned before, we're doing that for the simple reason that when we hit access, we may need to stop, or we may have bad weather. Any one of a number of things can happen. So I like to work the cases ahead, and I encourage you to upload them ahead so you have those done. So that's what we've got going on this week, and folks, you'll need to kind of be boning up and getting ready for exam 1, part 1, and then exam 1, part 2. I have the instructions here for you, and it's more of a hands-on type it's a hands-on portion of the exam. And then, of course, as I mentioned for you, here are resources for the exams. I just showed you that. Today we're going to work on we're going to work on case number 10, and this was a case that I did a pre-recording for the Monday group, at Monday section of this course, and we did Blue Sky Computer. So we'll do Blue Sky Computer today, and that will finish us off. Blue Sky Computer is case 10, okay, over in the Solve It 6.0 book, and it's on page 88. And what we're going to do today is we're going to use a couple of functions in Excel. One that's more of like a database function that lets us categorize things, and the other is a computational function that lets us take categories of things or groups of things and add them or sum them. Okay, so before I do that, though, this case also involves a very involves a business problem, and that's the problem of handling receivables or handling debt, business debt. When a company, for example, orders something from another company, and the other company sends it, and then the company that ordered it gets an invoice, they have become an accounts receivable to their vendor, and so it's always a concern when you're doing business with people that they pay you. Now, it's not so much that in retail establishments because they pay on the spot, but business-to-business dealings can become very, very tricky. I've worked on both sides of the aisle. I worked for a company named American Finasco that negotiated commercial debt, and what we did was we worked with firms that were in trouble so they could work out a plan with their creditors to be in good shape. You've probably seen those kinds of ads online about credit card debt or student debt, something like that. I also worked for a firm that did collections, and also we did the work on Experian, the Experian credit service. So this issue of receivables, is a pretty big issue. Now I have a link here for you that shows how receivables lose value over time. Money has a time value. Okay. Now let's see if we can get over there. There it is. Now, as you might imagine, the older that a debt gets, the less likely you are to get the value for your money, simply because money has a time value. Plus, the longer a debt goes unresolved, okay, the more at a certain point the creditor company writes it off, or something, or maybe the debtor goes out of business. You just never know. So when you sell on credit to other companies, you're taking a risk. It's why you have to put them through a credit check and all that business. But receivables lose money for companies. I'll go back here, and I've got another resource I wanted you to see. Okay, and let's see if I can go over here and find them. And it's the cost of the cost of receivables. What does it cost you when you have somebody who owes you money? Okay, and let me pop through here because I think I've got it over here in these resources. If it's not over here, it's over in the here it is. I think this is correct. It's a bad debt collectability chart, and it's from a credit company, a collections firm. Okay, and maybe as to if it's what it's going to do for us. Yep. Okay. Well, I guess that one's not going to work. I guess they're RGL. Well, let's go to their homepage and see if we can find it. Okay, there's the homepage, and they talk about the types of things that they do to make sure that you get your money's worth. And again, I don't think that they're going to have that collectability data that we want. However, we'll go back here, and I will be able to show you what it costs when you sell someone something. And this is a business-to-business transaction, okay? And they don't pay you on time. In other words, they become bad debt. It places a burden on you as a company because you may have borrowed money from a bank on a revolving note. You may have a vendor who supplies you. And so it becomes this wicked kind of chain that if you get, if they don't pay you, it becomes almost impossible for you to pay somebody else. And let me see, I want to find that here for just a minute. Here it is, collectability versus time, and then and we've seen that additional sales to cover bad debt. Okay, and they'll show you the illustration here. And here's a situation where you have a $2,500 write-off, okay, and you make 3% net profit. So you divide the write-off, which is 2,500, divided by 0.03, and you find that you have to make $83,333 in additional sales to recapture the 2,500 bucks you lost. So accounts receivables are a very critical part of any company that does business with another company, for the very reason that if they don't pay you, okay, then you're in trouble. And it may also will affect your cash flow and what you have to do. Okay, so let's go back over here for a moment, and we're going to open up the Blue Sky. Now, Blue Sky, again, is spreadsheet case 10 over in the Solve It 6.0 textbook, and you really can't follow along and know what's going on here, you know, unless you've got the book with you. So we're going to go over here to the files, and before we download the file, just over on page 88, they tell us some information about this company, what they do, you know, where they're located, that type of thing. Okay, and then we see that they're wanting to get their accounts receivables organized and automated, so it's easier for them to go after people, and also to produce what we call an aging report. And an aging report is very simply who owes you the money, how long have they owed it to you, and how much do they owe you. And that's when you begin to kind of categorize things on the basis of some decision rules that you set up for yourself. Now, at the top of page 89, the text goes on and talks about that, and that they have 4 categories of business debt, or 4 categories of lateness. One is current, in other words, 30 days or less. The next one is 31 to 60 days. The next one is 61 to 90 days, and the last one is over 90 days. And of course, we know, as we've seen, you know, uncollected debt, you know, it has a time value. So, you know, if you're 3 years collecting money, okay, even if you collect the whole amount that was supposed to have been paid to you within 30 days, you've lost the value of that money just simply due to inflation. You've already lost some money. So we have to we include this case to get you thinking about that and understand this is the kind of thing you can run into. And I can tell you from the experience I had, normally what happened was one company became a supplier or vendor for another, and then you'd have this issue where the vendor maybe got stiffed by one of their vendors, by one of their customers, or you weren't paying them. And a lot of times when businesses do a lot of time, they work together for quite a while, there are those times when they develop personal relationships. And that's when it gets really, really, really sketchy. Let's go down to the Solve 6.0 files, okay? And we're going to find those. Here they are. And we want to get the Solve It 6.0 student files. And I'm going to download that. Okay. Okay. And we'll take a look here now, and you'll see the Blue Sky file. Let's open it up. And as usual, I'm going to enable the editing, and then I'm going to click Save As. And this is Blue Sky. And I'm going to put Blue Sky, this says it's copy for me. I'm going to call it Harmon Keith. And I'm going to put it on my, I'm going to call it Harmon Keith. And I'm going to put it on my desktop. And save it there. Then I'm going to close it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to diminish my browser, close it off and find Blue Sky, and open it up again on my desktop. Okay, that will, and I go through this every time to make sure you understand that you avoid making a system file that nobody can handle. All right, and when we're finished here, you'll be able to upload it. Now here we are. We have the title. Okay, and what the function of it, and there's the documentation. Then we have this thing here in cell E8. All right, it says enter today's date. Now we're going to start with a date that makes sense for this case. And let me see if they had started it with a certain date. I'm going to just start it with this date. This is one I've used. I can't remember where I got it, but here in cell E8, I'm going to put 7/15/2008. Okay? 7/15. Now we're going to go to our friend, the name manager. Okay? And so I'm going to click right here, and then I'm going to click formulas, and I'm going to click define name. All right? And I'm going to call that today's date. Underscore date. And that refers to that cell E8. Okay? Now, we're going to do this. I'm going to come over here to column F, and I'm going to size it out a little bit. And then I'm going to click over to category. All right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's underlined. And so I'm going to click there in cell E11. Click copy, format painter. Okay? And then I'll do that copy, format painter. And we have the overdue category. Okay? Well, let's look at this for just a minute. Now we have the days outstanding and the overdue category. So we have the account number, the customer's name, the invoice number, okay, the date of the invoice. And an invoice is a document. You're going to hear people use some terms like a requisition, a purchase order, okay, and an invoice. They follow or track a purchase at various steps of the way. A requisition is somebody says, hey, I need to buy pencils or paper from somebody, okay? And they'll name, probably will name a vendor that they use, okay? Then it becomes formal when it's a purchase request. That means whoever is responsible for that, or maybe even the owner of the company, has looked and approved of that. It has looked at that request, or someone has approved, yes, we'll go ahead. And then we do, and then we send the invoice. Okay. If I'm on the receiving end, I'm going to get an invoice. If I'm selling something to someone, there'll be an invoice on there. Okay. So a client of yours will be expecting an invoice that tells them what you shipped, when you shipped. It's all the information about that transaction. Okay, and we can see we've got some dates for the invoices and then the amount. Let's do something just for a moment that will make it just a little bit nicer to look at instead of such a jumble. Put your cursor on cell A12 and then go all the way down to 31, and let's just put that in the middle. Center that text. So the invoices are centered. Let's go ahead and do the invoice dates, and let's center them. And then let's take the invoice amounts and let's center them. So it doesn't look like such a jumbled hodgepodge. Now we're ready to do a little bit of work with this. Now, if we wanted to, we could stop at this point. We could sort and filter these and do all kinds of things, but we want to find out what category these fall into, And then we also want to find out, okay, if they're in a certain category, all right, how much is it within one of those 4 categories? So we're going to do something here. Now remember that a date, okay, is when a date is in the machine, it's really a number, but it's reformatted so that we can understand it, okay? Let me click up here on this one, and this is a custom, but it's a number. But I'll go back to the custom that I had, okay? And it's a short date. Here now, I've also made sure if I go over here to the formulas, and I'll go to the name manager, I have a thing called today's date. Okay, so I'm going to use it in a formula because I want to see how long it is that these people have owed me some money. So I'm going to put use a formula, and that would be today's date. Okay, minus, and I'm going to put right in front of that D, I'm going to put a dollar sign, so it's very clear I'm working only with column D. Okay, and we'll come back here in a minute. We'll convert those to numbers so we get the number of days, and we'll come all the way down here. Okay, then I'm going to convert these. Okay, and I'll come over to home, and I'm going to convert them to numbers, and you'll see that's the number of days that they've been outstanding. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to decrease the decimals, and then I'm going to put those right in the middle so it looks all nice. So now I have everything I need to know about that particular transaction, as well as the crucial piece, and that is how long it's been outstanding. Now remember that we had that over there on the top of page 89, they had come up with some categories, 4 categories for describing the debt or the age of the receivable. So I'm going to put over here, I'm going to put category. Okay, and then let's see here. I'm going to put the category table here, and then I'm going to put, let's see, I want to later on. Yeah, I want to do it. Let's do this instead. Let's call this the lookup table, and we're going to use the VLOOKUP. All right, and I'm going to have 1. I'm going to put in a 1, and then a 31, then a 61, and then a 91. Okay, so I came over here to I. I put lookup, and let's just call it lookup table, because that's how I'm going to look up the categories. Okay, now I've got 1, 31, 61, 9. Now 1, okay, is going to coincide with current. Okay, 31 is 31 to 60 days. Okay, 61 is 61 to 90 days. And then the last one, 91, is over 90 days. Now, you say, boy, you keep thinking about 90 and 60 day and 30 day. Yeah. If you haven't collected money within 3 months, you have a problem on your hand. And so that's, you want to categorize these debts. Now, some companies I had worked with in the past, they would use a credit score from Experian, which is what we sold people. And if you had a certain score as a company, or other firms would use the Dun & Bradstreet, but Experian was just as good. Experian was better because it also could, if we had someone, if we had a client who dealt with an entrepreneur, they're going to be, they often were using their credit cards, and the family, somebody's salary that was whoever was working. So you also often needed a personal credit score, because it was a proprietorship. Now we're going to categorize those. So I'm going to take the lookup table, and I want to do the overdue category. And so here I'm going to use the VLOOKUP. Okay. So this will equal V, and then we'll put a parenthesis. Okay. And then I'm going to click here on the function arguments, and it says look up a value. Okay. And so I'm going to look up this value, F12. Okay. And I'm going to put a $sign in front of the F so it knows. Okay. And then the table array, that's a table of text or for which the data is retrieved. Okay. And let me stop for a minute. I have a question here. There's a set of instructions over there on test number 2, exam 2, part 2. So no, I'm not going to spend any time because I've got a pretty detailed set of instructions for you there. If I get some time, I will, but take a look. I have a link. I think I even have a screen recording for you. If you've got a specific question, I could try to answer it for you, but otherwise, it's there for you to take a look at. Okay, I want to go to the table array, and this is a table of text in which the data is retrieved. Okay, and so I'm going to come up here to the table array. All right, and that will be over here at the lookup table. I'll click right here. All right, that's my table array. And just to be safe, I'm gonna enter these, okay, and make sure that I keep them as J. Well, I'll go ahead and just heist them, and then we'll put the $sign in front of it, and we'll try this. And we should have J5 through J7, okay? And then I've got a column index number, and that's going to be number 2, okay? Now, notice something, okay? I have the lookup value, which was F12, okay? The table array is I5, okay? Pardon me, J5 through J8, J7. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it should be. Okay, I did I5 to I7, 5, 6, 7. That makes no sense. So I want to over 90 days. Okay, I've got current. Let me go back over here. I want to do this so I make sure I don't mess myself up here. Okay, yeah, it should be J4. And now I'll put the $signs. I'm going to highlight those and then press Control F4. That wouldn't make them into absolute. So I'm going to do this. $sign J, $4, $sign J, $sign before 5, 7, J7. Okay, so I've got $sign J4. I have J4 through J7, and I put that in there as that's the table array, and then the column index number is 2. Okay, and that's what I've got, and I'm ready to go. Okay, and I should have that showing there. Maybe it's not going to take that. It's just going to want me to put it in here. So let's just do this. Sometimes it's a little finicky. In that case, it is. And we've got J4 to J7. All right, we'll look up. Now let's see if we can carry this all the way down. Nope, we're going to have to do some work with this. So let me come over here. Erase this. What we're dealing with right here on this VLOOKUP, and that's going to be F12, and that will be, those will need to be $I, and really it should be, yeah, $I, $4. Okay, let me do this here for just a second. The cell referencing on this is just kind of a bit. All right, equal VLOOKUP. I have those days like everybody. All right, and cancel that. I want VLOOKUP. I'll use that. Click here to get the dialog box. I'm after. I'm gonna just start over here because I'm getting myself and all of us. So we're in good shape there. Now F12. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a $sign in front of I, and then 4, and then a $sign in front of J, and then in front of 7. Okay, and now we should hopefully be able to drag and drop this all the way down. Let's see if we've got our, we do. Now let me copy this out of here for a minute. I want to put it into a paste, which is what I should have done. I didn't take my own advice. Here we're going to do the VLOOKUP. That means a vertical lookup. F12 is the cell that we want to evaluate. I4 through J7 is the lookup table array. And then we chose column 2 because we want to describe it. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Okay, so we've gotten that all done. So now we have them all categorized. Now, if we wanted to, we can do some work with this table. And let me show you something we can do with it. Okay, we can come over and I'm going to highlight the whole thing, starting with A11 and going all the way over to G32. So I'm going to highlight A11 through G32. Okay, and then I'm going to do this. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click sort and filter. I'm going to filter these. You'll see the little filter band come on. And now I can click on this and I want to deselect everything. I want to get anything that's current. And that will show me. And now if I want to, I can go ahead and get a total. And just get that total. Okay. No, it's not going to let me do that, is it? Well, here's what I can do. I'll just take these and I'll paste them over. And ignore this output range stuff right here. We're just going to basically do this anyway. And now if I want to, I can go ahead and sum that. And I know how much is owed. And I'll just go ahead and stick that over here in the middle and then bolt it up. So I know in terms of the overdue category of current, I've got $4,398 outstanding. Okay. Now I'm showing you the special filter and paste function that the authors talk about. I'm going to hit on overdue category. I'm going to deselect it, and this time I'm going to just select 31 to 60 days. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to come down here and paste it. Okay, and then I can go ahead and sum it. I'll use the auto sum. Okay, and then I'll just simply bold it up and put it in the middle. So right now I know that I have this much out in terms of over 31 to 30 days. We're just going through that step. Okay, now I'm going to choose everybody who's 61 to 90 days. Pardon me, I'm going to deselect everybody and then 61 to 90 days. Okay, and there it is, and I'll copy that. Okay, and I'm going to put that down here. Start over here. Now I can get the invoice amount, and you can see I've got I've got this category, and I'm going to bold that up and put it in the middle. Okay. Now I've got one group left, and these are over 90 days. And so I'll go back here. I'll deselect all of this, and then put in over 90 days. And away we go. And we'll copy that in, then we'll get the amount. All right, and we'll do the sum, and then we'll put that in the middle. We'll bold it up. All right, now I'm going to check to see if how we've done in terms of have we gotten everything in. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to equal sum, and I'm going to grab this total. Okay, and this total, that's for the next category, and then this total, that's for the third category, and I'll come down and I'll get the one for the last category. Okay, and let's see what we get. Yep, we're good. We should have $1,220.16, or 6 cents, excuse me. Okay, 12,000. That's the correct. So what now? In the text, the author said you do a special cut and paste of using the filter, and all we did was we just filtered these. Okay, then copied them and summed them. Now, if I want to, since this is current, I'm going to come over here to the current, and I'm gonna highlight that, and I'm going to make that. I'm going to use some highlighting, or pardon me, fill, and I'm going to fill that with a nice green. Say they're okay. Then I'm going to come down here with the ones that are 31 to 60 days, and I'm going to find something a little less friendly, and that's a real light salmon. Then I'm going to come down here to this, everybody who is in the 61 to 90 days. Okay, I'll make that just a little bit redder. Okay, in fact, I could even make that, I'll make it just a little bit redder. And then finally, I come down here to these where they're over 90 days, and I'm going to use a full-on red, really deep red. So you can see, now in fact, this set here, I could go ahead and make them kind of like a yellow fill as a sign of caution. Because 31 to 60 days is not too bad. It's when you get here, these last two, that things are bad. So we've done the cut and paste that the authors ask us to do. Okay, and now to see the whole thing in its entirety, we just go back and we toggle the filter. Well, we select everything, we click OK, and then we'll come back over here and I'll just turn it off. Now, if we want to check our work, it's very simple. Okay, I'm going to put equal sum, and I'm going to get these invoice amounts from E12 to E32. And it's 12/20/06, and that matches up there. Okay, so this is one way we could depict these using the color to indicate, hey, it's current, or it's it passed 30 days, and now it's past 60 days, and now it's past 90 days. And we would have done, you know, the things that the authors wanted us to do. They wanted us to do one final thing, and that was to use the SUMIF function Okay, so we're gonna take a stab at that. All right, and here we're gonna put the category. So I'm gonna come down here. I'm on J11. I'll put category. Okay, and let's see here. And then I'm gonna put total. Okay, and then I'm just gonna simply copy and paste these in. Okay, now, and I'm going to do copy, format painter, make that boom look the same so that we're in good shape. Now we're going to use the sum if function, all right? And so we're going to, this will equal, okay? And it's going to say the range is the range of cells you want to that you want evaluated, okay? So that's going to be the range of cells you want to create, evaluate will be this amount, this range, okay? This is the overdue category. That's what we want to evaluate. And then the criteria, okay? And that's going to be over here in our lookup table, okay? And it will be current. We'll start with that. And then the sum range will be all the invoice amounts, okay? And we're going to get that, and it's $43.98. And so we're good. Now, from here on out, it just simply becomes an issue, okay, of cell referencing. And I'm going to go ahead and it may just go ahead and follow suit for us and just give it to us nicely. Let's see now what we got equals sum, or did it mess with us? We'll see. Yeah, we've got a problem there. It's not referencing out. So this is going to be G12, G31. And so I think what I'm going to need to do is G12, G31. I'm going to put a dollar sign in front of the C, G, pardon me, here on this. And J13, yeah, and that's going to be, and I'm going to put that, I'll put a dollar sign in front of the I13. And then put dollar signs here in front of the E12, E32. Okay, and let's see if that will work for us. Now I'm going to look at this and see. Okay, over to category. Okay, and that figure's right. Let me check this. No, see, because I want I'm G13 to G32. I want this smudged up. So we're going to do this. I'm going to move this one up a little bit. All right, I'm not satisfied with this, so I'm going to do G12 to G32. Let's see. I think what I'm going to have to do here, folks, is go ahead and put in a absolute cell reference all the way on this G12 to G32. Now, we could have used the name function, which I chose not to do, which would make this a little bit easier. And we're going to have J. I want to come back up to J12. Yeah. And then we'll do E3 to E3, and we'll go ahead and put a dollar sign in front of that. Let's just try this and see if it's going to work for us. No, not going to work. All righty. Sum F, G12, G31. I'm sorry, this is just kind of, it takes a little bit of time sometimes, all right? Yeah, that should be E32. So we're good here. And that'll do it. All right. So we've got G12, G32. Now this just becomes an issue, really, to do the drag and drop. It just becomes an issue of the cell formatting. And let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and come down. Got this. I'm just going to drag and drop it on down. Okay. And I'm going to click on this to see if I've got everybody, and I don't. So I need G12 to G32 and E12 to E32. And that ought to do it for this category. Just kind of a painstaking thing. Okay. And we can check down here and see if we've got them done properly. 43 so far. And then it just becomes a matter of this one. Again, this is going to be G12. You notice how it's wanted to advance. G12 to G32. J15 and E14. Pardon me, I want E12 to E32. You'll notice how we've that. Okay. And then we have G12 to G32. This is a little bit tedious, but we're getting there. And this would be E12 to E32. All right, now let's total these and see if it gives us the magic number. If it does, we're in good shape. Yeah, just a little bit of work there using that. Now, we could have used the name manager for some of those columns and tried to do it, but let's watch the pattern. First of all, we get G12, G32, and then this J13, which is for current. Okay, and I'll just open up the dialog box so you can see the range, then the criterion, and then the range you're going to sum. So this is the range of names or what you call for the categories, or it could be a customer ID, it could be anything. Then the criteria, and we start, the first one is J13, and the dialog box will tell you what's happening, and then that's the range of the cells to sum, which is E12 to E32, and we're okay there. If we look at the next one, we'll see the cell referencing will pop on that. And this time we're looking at J14. Everything else is constant. Okay, and we get that figure, and then we'll come down here and we'll look at the figure for 61 to 90 days. Okay, and G12, we're okay there. And we'll finally come to over 90 days. Same story there. You can see the biggest problem I had is not understanding the function arguments as much as is just the cell referencing. Okay, and there are some ways you can use the name manager here, but I chose just to kind of keep this simple because we want to. I want to make sure you see how this is the symmetry that's involved with this. Notice that the range and the sum range, okay, they've got to be the same number of cells. So we've got G12 to G32, E12 to E32. Now the criterion I kept with a mixed cell reference with the $ in front of the J, see, and that's the 16. And then we just checked our work, and we'll bold that up, and we're good to go. Now, really, that's all that's left for us to do is we've done some work down here. So I want to clean this up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to this one row above. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is with these, I'm going to highlight okay? And I'm going to put them in a thick box border. That'll look fine. And there's the total. And I'm going to write total right there. And then make it bold and centered. Brush can make it to the left there. And then we'll do a thick box here for these that are over. And again, I use these different colors to indicate, you know, the urgency with which we try to collect our money. And I'm going to do the thick box. And then I'm going to put total. Okay. And I'm going to bold that up and put it in the middle. Okay. And then I've got this next one. Same thing. I'm putting it in a thick box border. And then I'm going to put total. And you said, why did we do this twice, basically? Well, to show you two different ways to do it. The authors wanted to show you that you could use the filter to grab the records that you need. Okay? Or if you wanted to, I'll make that bold and over the middle. In fact, what I'm going to do with these figures right here, I'm going to make those letters white. Okay? Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do here is I don't like the fill. And I'm going to use a fill for a nemesis school that I don't like. I bet you can guess with that burnt orange. We'll put the stiffs with the burnt orange. Okay? And so there you are. And it says, okay, we're good here. We're rolling along, you know, 30 days. Here's an overdue category. Now we're starting to get a little serious, and now this is bad news. As you know, the probability that we will collect these, okay, starts to become an issue. All right. Now this, and we've also done the lookup table. Let's go ahead and make this main table, and I'm going to go ahead and use a nice blue. We're going to fix it up. We make it look nice. Okay. Then we'll come down here and do a border. Boom. And then inside here, I'm going to go from A12 all the way down to, I think it's G32. And I'm going to click all borders. Then we can come over to the lookup table. We can put all borders there, and we could use a color we like. Purple's not too bad. A lighter purple would be good, and we'll bold those. Okay, and we'll come over here to the sum if area, and we'll put all borders, and we'll go ahead and we'll make that the same, and then bold them up. Okay, and we've got everything nicely formatted, and so we can look down here, and I'll bold that up too. But it needs to be bold, doesn't it? Yeah, we're good there. I better put the word total though. Total. Okay. And this shows us, okay, how much is owed in each category, and then the total amount owed. And we can even, if we want, we could compute percentages of this. All right. And so, yeah, I can come over here and I can put percent, and we can just do this. And I'll go ahead and do this, copy that, format painter, boom. And then this will be equal to K13. I'll put a $sign in front of the K. Okay, divided by K18. And I'm going to make K18 an absolute cell reference because it's the constant and then we'll just come right on down. And we can go ahead and put them in percentage forms, in format, which I'm going to do. I'll take, let's see here. There's a percentage format, and I'll put all borders and make them bold. And that's 70 or 80%. Now, if I want to be a purist, I can go ahead and add a decimal. I'll have to go back in and change the percentage. Let's see. If I put them back as numbers, I'm okay. Well, I'm all right with this. Now, as you can see, and then I'm going to add a last column here, cumulative percent. And I'm going to go ahead and do the wrap text on that. All right. And this equals 36%. And this equals sum of 13, L 14. And I can go ahead and come down, and then I would look at, and this, I can do this in my head. Why am I doing all this time in formatting? This is going to be 36%. The cumulative percentage is going to be 70%. Okay? And then the cumulative percent, there will be 85%. And then that'll be 100%. I'll go ahead and make those purple. And we're in good shape. Okay? So, why, you say, now why did you do that? Well, this gives me some additional insights into the data. Okay? And it tells me that 70% of what I've got out there in receivables, okay, is 60 days or under. And then I've got 30% out here. Now, you've heard the rule, the 80-20 rule. 20% of the people do all the work. And in business, 20% of your accounts generate the greatest amount of problems for you. Okay, and that just kind of it's one of those things. But Vilfredo Pareto is the one who came up with the 80-20 rule. And he's right. We've got out here, we've got about 30%. And I would say if I were looking at this, you have about probably going to get somewhere between 70 and 75% of this collected. Okay, these are over 90 days, will probably be bad news. Now, here's another thing that you can do. And again, as we're looking at this, we've looked at categories and the number of days outstanding, the invoice. Now let's ask ourselves, who is giving me problems? Which company? So I'm gonna highlight A11, okay, all the way over to G32, right? And I'm gonna go back to our old friend, the filter, okay? And I'm gonna click on filter, and here's the filter goes hot. And this time I'm gonna look at customer names. I'm gonna deselect everybody, and I'm gonna find out account by account. Okay, there's one that's over 90 days. Okay, I'm gonna deselect it, and then I come over here. Critter care, now they're over 90. And now what we could do, and I'm going to cancel this, and this will be much faster. So I go up here, we're going to sort these. Okay, so I'm going to take because I'm after a category or dimension. So I'm going to take A11 through G32. Okay, and I'm going to come over here to the custom sort. and I'm going to sort by customer name in alphabetical order, and I'm going to add level, and I'm going to sort by overdue category. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put overdue category first, okay, and then the customer name. And the overdue category, it's not going to. The overdue category isn't going to help me. I want to sort by days outstanding. There we go. And I want to go largest to smallest, and then I want the customer name in alphabetical. Let's pop that baby up and take a look at it. And here you can see, right, anybody that's over 90, we start saying, okay, we got this group of people who are over 90 days, and these are the people I probably need to. Now, the other thing I can do, and this is part of the thought process, and this is business problem analysis, and that's why I'm walking you through this, is we have to ask ourselves, okay, how much am I going to recapture, all right, if I go out here and you know, I've got $12,000 worth of receivables, 15% of them are tied up and probably will end up as accounts I won't collect anything. So I'm probably better to work with the 85% below here than to waste too much time with these people. Now, one of the ways you do is you just simply either put them on cash, make them they have to pay you cash in it, you know, or you just simply quit doing business with them. Because if they're over 90 days, they're really not a customer, they're costing you money. Okay, and let's look at this for a minute. Okay, let's just take, well, we can do that formula we did earlier. All right, and we're going to do that. How much in additional sales are we going to get to make up for those over 90 days? So this will equal this, okay? And let's say I'm making a 5% profit on my sales. You can do the math. We saw it already from that collection agency. I'm going to have to generate $36,000 more in sales to make up for these people. 36 grand. So this is serious business. Now, the people I worked for on the collection side, they didn't mess with phone calls or letters. They had a group of attorneys who worked for them. So if you owed one of my clients money, you know, the firm I represented they had an attorney, and the attorney would send a letter and say, you got 14 days to contact us, settle up, or we're going to take you to court. And then if they take somebody to court and win that, they get a thing called a judgment, which means they can walk in with a sheriff, county sheriff, and do an auction of your stuff, literally. So this is serious business. And I wanted to show you the ways we did, you know, we used a sum function, and we did the VLOOKUP, and we did some specialized pastes, filter and paste operations, a little bit more again about formatting, and to get us thinking about, you know, the problems that get encountered when we don't use debt wisely. And you know, you never know how that can occur. Now, let me say on the flip side, and you know this from credit cards, or maybe if you take a trade credit, like some companies will say net terms are net 30, 5% in 15 days, which means if you pay the bill within 15 days, they give you 5% credit. Otherwise, it's due in 30 days. A firm could go out and borrow you know, quite a bit of money, take the trade credit, pay off the interest on the loan, and do very well. Okay, so trade credit, and you'll hear people talk about that, I hope, is another one of those things your company wants to take. Well, that's pretty much it as far as this goes. And I did start a little bit early, and so we've done about an hour and 35 minutes or so. And now what you want to do is you want to save this, all right? and then you want to upload this where it says upload XLS10 here. So I'm going to diminish this down for a sec. All right, I'll go back up here, and we'll go back over here to the modules, and where it says XLS10, upload here. And so you want to upload your file there. I'll pop down here. Okay. Here it is. See, we're working quite a bit ahead, but this is where you would upload this case Blue Sky, which is XLS X10. Now, just to be on the safe side, in case you have some kind of calamity, all right, I'm going to go ahead and upload the file I did today. Okay, and that's going to be, where are you, my friend? I'll go up to my desktop, and I want to find, there it is. There, and it's up there. Now, there's another one that I created from the pre-recorded screencast I did for the other section of this course. Now, I got a question about what was I going to talk about the test, okay, and particularly regarding part 2. And I'm not going to go through too much time, but I will take a look and just for a moment talk some about the exam one. You have a sample for exam part 1, so that's not a big deal. You should do okay on that. And you also have that file up there in the resources area that tells you, okay, where you'll find stuff for each quiz and exam. The exam 1 part 2 instructions, okay? This is over here in a Word doc, and we'll let it render up. You're going to find you're going to use the file for XLS6 Badger Jams. We've done that, okay? You remember that's that break-even analysis case, okay? So you've already uploaded it, but there's also a copy of it over there in the files in Canvas. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to increase the rent amount 5.3%. You're going to increase the advertising 2.9%. The commercial stove, you're going to reduce it by 6.8%. The cooking equipment, you're going to increase that by 3.2%, and the shipping 12%. Now, with those, I'm going to ask you to compute the selling price to keep break-even units at 1147. And to do that, you're going to have to use GoalSeek. Okay? And you want to go and make sure that you have those figures in there. I can't go too much about, but you're going to change the figures there in that file for these costs, okay? And then I want you to use the GoalSeek, which is what you would use to compute the selling price required to keep it at a break-even at 1147 units sold. And you can do that, okay? So that's what I'm going to be looking for there in that exam 1 part 2. You're going to go get the Badger Jams case, all right? Then you're going to go in and you're going to make these changes in these expenses, okay? Enter those in, and then you're going to need to work with the selling price, okay? You're going to have to use GoalSeek to get a selling price that gives you 1,147 units sold. Okay, and that's what you're going to be doing with that part of exam 2. I can't go any further than that, or I'd show you how to do it. I'm not going to do that for sure. Okay, folks, let me see if there's anything else in terms of housekeeping. You know, you've got that. You have exam 1 part 1 and part 1 and 2. We did XLS 10 today, case number 10. So you should upload it where that is. All right, and then on Thursday, we'll look at case number 11, okay, spreadsheet case 11, which is going to be Morgan Wagner Machinery, and that's when we're going to do a sensitivity analysis, computing probability index, profitability index. Okay, so don't forget, if you have questions or something, I've got office hours today. I've got virtual office hours at from 3:30 to 5:30, and you can always shoot me an email if you have a question. And today is 3:30. It's both days, today and Wednesday. It's 3:30 to 5:30. I'll be there. All you have to do is, if you appear, I hear a chime, I visit with you, show you the screen, do whatever I need to do. I did the same thing I could do if I was over at the office. Okay, folks, I think that's pretty much going to do it, and that will get us more than an hour and 50 minutes. Thank you so much for those of you who stayed. If you showed up late, obviously I'm going to turn this into a YouTube video, and then I'll post it over here today and have it ready to go. So thanks a lot, and I will go ahead and we'll stop the sharing, and then I'll stop the recording and end the meeting.